So listen here carefully, if you've just bought yourself a pair of Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, you probably just popped the lid, paired them, and you might assume that they sound as good as they ever will, right? Because did you know that there are a ton of settings and hidden features that can take the user experience and audio quality up to another level? So I'm making this video to help you guys discover some of the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro features that you might have missed. While there isn't an official app called the Galaxy Buds controller, there is a specific app to use to control and configure the buds, and it is the Samsung Wear app. So this is just a suggestion. If you're going to follow along with this video, add it to the home screen. You can find it by swiping up to access your app drawer, and you'll find it within the Samsung folder, and it looks like this. Now, one more step before we dive into all of the good stuff. I strongly recommend this one. You'll see why. Pinch the home screen, go to widgets, and look for the Galaxy Buds controller. Place this on one of your home screens, ideally on the same page where you keep your media, your music and your games and that kind of stuff. And also, while you're here, if you hit the settings on this widget, you can make it transparent, which in my opinion just looks kind of cool. And this widget will allow you to jump between the noise cancelling and transparency modes and all that stuff. And listen, if you've tested out the ambient mode on these buds and you're not a big fan of it, there is actually a way to fine tune the pass-through levels to make them perfect for your ears, and we will come back to that a little later on in the video, so stick around. And also, it's a good idea to keep in mind that the widget can act as a quick shortcut to the Buds controller section within the Wear app. If you tap just around here where the battery percentage is, that'll do the trick. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but if your earbuds don't have a good seal in your ear, the overall audio quality and noise cancelling will not be optimal. But how do you find out if this is happening to you? Well, let me show you. Open the Wear app. Within the earbuds section, go to sound quality and effects. And here you'll find the ear fit test. So put the earbuds in as you normally would and run this test. If the results show a poor fit, then you know what to do. Test out the other silicone tips that were provided in the box. A little side note though, when you're doing this, be careful when it comes to removing these tips. Do not grab them by the thin silicone part. Try your best to grip the hardened plastic towards the center because the silicone can rip. And I learned this the hard way. Something to lock in on day one is the user controls on the earbuds themselves. You do get a full tutorial the first time you pair these to your device, but there is a customization tweak that you should take a look at. Go to the Wear app and go to earbud controls. Now, I'm right-handed, so the pinch and hold gesture on the right side to toggle between the noise cancelling modes and the ambient mode is perfect for me. So this does free up the left side pinch and hold. So to adjust this, just tap on the side that you want to remap and look at the options. So you have voice command, which can be very handy, especially if you've set up Google Gemini as your voice assistant, because with this enabled, you can pretend to be smarter than I know you already are. Also, Samsung's interpreter app is fantastic now with all the AI features. So with this enabled, you'll actually be able to hear and understand if someone's talking about you in their native language. Okay, it's not really for that, but this is a good one to know, and it could be very handy when abroad. All right, here are some more settings you should definitely take a look at. Jump into the Wear app again, and directly under the ANC controls, you'll have this, the auto switch to ambient mode. So there is a few parts to this. Now, don't switch these all on straight away. You have to understand the pros and cons of each one of these. For example, the upside to the voice detect is this great when you're on a plane or a train and you need to speak to the air steward or stewardess to order another drink. Because as soon as you start speaking, the ambient mode kicks in and you'll be able to hear your surroundings and also the person speaking to you. And as soon as you stop speaking for 5 seconds, the noise cancelling will switch back on. Now, the downside to this is if you hum or sing along to your music, it may start to trigger all the time unintentionally. Now, with the siren detect, the upside is pretty obvious. This could be a lifesaver. You don't want your noise cancelling blocking out your fire alarms, for example. So you might want to switch this on straight away, unless you have an annoying neighbor whose alarms are going off all the time, and that is something you want to block out specifically. Now, the ambient sound during calls could be very useful. You know how some people speak louder when they're wearing headphones and they don't even realize it? Well, enabling this will help you avoid doing that. The downside to this particular one is that if you're on a phone call, for example, the call clarity might take a little bit of a hit because you're also going to be hearing all your surroundings. So choose wisely and remember where these settings are, because you might need to come back to this particular page and adjust these from time to time. All right, now let me show you some ways to improve audio quality for specific media types. Go to the Wear app and go to the sound quality and effects section. Now here it's important to know when to use the 360 audio. I don't recommend you leave it on all the time. The great thing about about this is it does add more atmosphere to movie content, but it might not be great for certain types of music. Again, one good use case for this is when you're traveling and watching movies on a plane, because it improves that kind of atmospheric cinema sound that you might get in an actual movie theater. And you also get a sub setting here when it comes to 360 audio, and that's head tracking. So this basically shifts the audio balance left to right and down to up depending on the movement of your head. And it does work well, but I don't advise you to use this when you're walking or running, as the earbuds can actually lose track of where the center point is for the audio if you're moving around a lot. So this one is actually the first thing I did. And if you care about listening to your audio in the highest possible quality with these earbuds, you should 100% do this straight away. But there are some downsides, and we'll come back to that. So go to the Wear app, go to sound quality and effects. And at the bottom of this page, you'll see the advanced quality options. Here you can choose to enable Samsung's UHQ ultra high quality audio. So if you do have hi-fi audio streaming services like Tidal, for example, this will increase the quality of the audio coming from your phone to your earbuds by using Samsung's own high-res audio codec. And on the same page, you can increase the voice call quality by enabling super wideband speech. But like I said before, if you do enable these modes, you may sacrifice some other features. So it's a good idea to remember where this is in case you need to come back and turn it off at some point. So from time to time when watching movie content, you might find the voices get slightly washed out by the background music and sound effects and explosions. If that happens, you can switch off the UHQ audio setting, which I showed you in the previous tip, and enable a setting that boosts vocal frequencies so that you can hear them more clearly. So if you go into the Wear app, sound quality and effects, and here you'll see boost dialogue. This will be grayed out if UHQ is on. And this mode can actually be fantastic for you if you are slightly hard of hearing. Now this is definitely something you should test out straight away. And before you do, queue up your favorite track of all time. Once you've done that, go to the Wear app, go to sound quality and effects, and here test out the equalizer. The presets that Samsung provide are awesome. And remember, Samsung do own one of the world's largest audio research companies, Harman. So you can place money on these EQs being professionally tuned. So take your time, test out each one of these EQs and figure out which one is your favorite sound. But if you want to take things into your own hands, you can use Samsung's custom 9-band EQ to truly dial in something unique to you. Now, staying within the same settings menu, there are a couple more beneficial options to be aware of. The adjust sound to fit. This will adjust sound dynamically based on the seal and sound leakage from the earbuds. And this is definitely a setting that I enabled on day one. Then you've also got the loudness normalization. So this could be very useful for you if you have sensitive hearing. It will level out the loudness so that it's not too loud, and it will increase the lower audio on those quieter sounds that you might miss. But just be aware that this might not be ideal for you if you like those louder sounds and booming bass in the music and you want to feel those explosions in your movies. To a certain extent, of course. Okay, now let me show you a usability hack. Go to the Wear app and go to voice commands. Here you can enable Bixby Voice Wake Up. Now, even if you're not the biggest fan of Bixby, it is particularly handy if you have Samsung wearables. And in regards to the Galaxy Buds, it's a great way to play, pause and skip audio and even adjust the volume levels without using your hands at all. And you must enable both of these for the media controls to work properly, so just be aware of that. The Galaxy Buds 3 Pro do have wear detection sensors, so they automatically know if they're in or out of your ears. And depending on how you like to use your earbuds, you might want to consider these settings. Go to the Wear app, go to the earbud settings section, and look at the in-ear detection menu. Here you'll notice that the switch calls to phone when both earbuds are removed option is enabled. You could switch this off if you want, if you're the type of person who might like to take out one earbud and actually answer the phone on the phone itself as opposed to through the earbud. And the other option is the pause media when one earbud is removed. This could be very handy for you if you're the type of person who might want to take out one of the earbuds to have a conversation as opposed to trusting the ambient pass-through. Because sometimes it's just more respectful to the person you're talking to, as they will know that they have your full attention instead of thinking that you're still listening to your music or podcast and just pretending to hear what they're saying. Now, staying within the same earbud settings here, you'll see the read notifications allowed option. It could be a good idea to look at this list and see if there's any important apps here that you would want read to you. For example, messaging services like WhatsApp or text messages. And if you are going to be traveling, maybe the airline app might be a good one to enable temporarily. That way, if there's any updates with boarding times and things like that, it will read it out inside the earbuds. So hopefully you won't miss your flight. Now, if you have several Samsung Galaxy devices, for example, the Galaxy Tab or or the Galaxy Book, you should enable seamless connection straight away, and you can find it within the earbud settings. One thing to note here though is if you're connected to two Samsung devices simultaneously, the Bixby controls will stop working. Now I don't know about you, but I spend several hours at my computer pretty much every day, and I do try to sit up straight. But I do find that when I'm working on a laptop whilst on the move, I find myself hunched over a lot like a vampire. So if you suffer from this as well, then you might want to check this out. Go to the earbud settings, and here you'll see neck stretch reminders. Enable this, and it'll even give you a little tutorial on how to do neck stretches. So remember that ultra high quality audio mode I showed you earlier? Well, that uses Samsung's proprietary audio codec, and because it sends more data between the device and the buds compared to the regular AAC and SBC, for example, this doesn't make it the best option for gaming because it's slightly slower. So if you are a gamer and you're going to be using the buds for gaming, you should switch off the UHQ audio setting and switch this on for your gaming. Go to the Wear app, go to the earbud settings, then labs, and then here you'll see the gaming mode. This will reduce the audio quality a little bit, but at the same time, it's going to minimize the lag. Now, if you're hard of hearing in both ears or in just one ear, Samsung have got you covered. Go to the Wear app, go to the earbud settings, and go to accessibility. Here you can shift the balance of the audio to be louder on one side or the other. Now, staying within the same accessibility options, this one's worth putting some thought into. So if you're the type of person who likes to rock just one earbud at a time, you can set up the earbuds so that ANC and pass-through modes continue to work even when you're just using one earbud. It does have its use cases, but some might find that using ANC on just one ear might be a little bit uncomfortable. So think about this one and just be aware of it. Okay, so you made it all the way to the end, and as a thank you for staying this long, here are some bonus tips as a reward for sticking around. So as I mentioned earlier, if the ANC pass-through mode, aka the transparency mode on the Galaxy Buds, is a little too quiet or maybe even a little bit too loud, here's how to fine-tune it to your liking. Go to the Wear app, go to accessibility, go to hearing enhancements for ambient sound. Once you enable this, here you can play with the levels on either side to compensate for your hearing abilities. And there's a great feature here which is switched off on day one that focuses the mics only on the sounds in front of you and not all of the chatter around you. And here's another little bonus tip. If you happen to drop your earbuds one day by accident, or they get knocked around a bit in a bag or a suitcase, and you want to check that they're still working properly and they're not faulty, you can do this using Samsung's diagnostic tool. So if you go into the Wear app, go to earbud settings, and at the bottom here you'll see diagnostics. This will check every element on the earbuds, and it will highlight any issues with the earbuds if there are any. And here is probably the most well hidden tip of them all, and I guarantee you most people will never even know this exists unless they see this video. This one is not within the Wear app. If you go into the settings on your device, scroll all the way down to the accessibility section, and here you'll see the hearing enhancements options, and there's a bunch of cool stuff you can use here, but I'm just going to focus on one for this tip, and that is the adapt sound. So listen, if you partied a bit too hard in your younger days, your ears might be paying the price. But with this tool right here, if you go to add personalized sound profile, you can conduct a hearing test, and the phone will detect what frequencies you can't hear that well anymore and boost those in the earbuds. And the great thing about doing this is it applies to all headphones that will be paired to your device. So if you have some over-ear headphones from another brand, this will still work on those headphones. So it might be worth setting this up. And there are some preset ones here that you can use straight away if you don't want to do the full-on hearing test. And here's one more tip. Did you know that the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro have a unique feature, and most people will never truly appreciate it if you don't do what I'm about to show you? Of course, I'm talking about the Knight Rider lights on the back. Anyway, check this out. Go to the Wear app, go to earbud controls, and at the bottom you'll see earbud light controls. And on this page it shows you how to show off your earbuds unique feature. You can enable the lights by pinching both the stems simultaneously whilst they're not in your ears, and they have to be out of the case as well. And you can choose a light pattern that you like. I do wish there were more color options here. I think red could look pretty cool. But the fact that you can do this at all does separate the Galaxy Buds from pretty much all others. My personal favorite is the fade in and fade out. And on that note, thanks for watching.